Good afternoon, folks. We are live once again. Let me get everything switched over and we will jump back into the grind in Warriors Abyss. Alright, we should have audio and video. Oh, I need to turn the BGM on. There it goes. Alright, we are back once again. I haven't looked at the stats in a while since I've been playing the Steam version of this game, but it looks like, according to this, total playtime so far 65 hours. So after 120 or so on the Steam version, or Switch version before I switched over here, we definitely have around 200 total hours in the game. And we are nowhere near close to unlocking everything. But it's cool that there's these aggregate stats that tell you what you've done. Highest traversal level completed, traversal level 6. I wonder if that also counts the hidden T6 version. I imagine it will show up in there, but I don't see a separate stat for it now. How many times we failed? Defeats suffered. I think that's defeats suffered. So failed runs. 36. I guess it could be worse. Total enemies defeated. Over 1 million. Emblems by type acquired. That's cool. Looks like my number one go-to is skill, which makes sense. I think skill is one of the most important abilities for any character. Skill, and I assume vigor would be the next one. Where is it on the list? Skill, strength. Oh, power? But it's listed as power here. Okay, that must be what that is. I had to sneeze real quick. Okay, and the elements... 474 in flame. Looks like bolt. Interesting. I would have expected it to be fire or slay, not bolt. Okay. And I've never actually looked at this page before, but this is cool. This tells you by hero what you've done. So play counts, how many times you've taken them on a run. I'm assuming times completed will be the amount of times you've completed a run on each of the traversal levels. And alliances forged will be how many times you've recruited that hero into your party. And it looks like it's done by group. Probably the same order as the character screen. So I'm assuming Hayabusa's probably got the most. I used him to clear a lot of stuff. Yeah, 33 total runs. Anybody else even come close? Ishida. I've ran him 10 times. Now Masa might be somewhat higher up there. Where's he? There he is. 8 times? Okay. Less than Ishida. I did mess around with Guojia a bit in the beginning. He's pretty fun. And to build that character some more. But yeah, other than that, I haven't really played with the majority of the cast, which is why we're using the wheel to experiment around and take people out on runs. Six times on Zhuge Liang. Yeah, that makes sense. That's the first character I tried out when I started up this save. Okay. So if we take a look at the... Maybe we can do it on the map. So I've invested a little more in the cast. For weapons, we're at 60 something, I think. 67. So still a good portion of them missing, but we're over half. But I tinkered around with some of the other characters just since the last time I streamed this, since it's been a little bit. I messed around with the Atelier characters. So we have Ryza, Sophie, and Yumiya. I think of the 3, Yumiya's got my favorite moveset. Ryza's not bad. I think hers was the kind of projectile-based one. But Yumiya's a beast if you get a good amount of power-ups on her. So I think I'd pick her to build out of the 3 to start. Who else did we ascend? Kept the ascension on Ganning. He's pretty fun too. Just recently I did a clear with Hanzo. Hanzo's also pretty fun, but I refunded his Transcendence. But of the characters I've been trying out over the last week, while I've been grinding, building up more of the embers and trying to unlock more weapons, I think Zhurong is probably my standout of the characters. And this is a character I played with in the other games, especially the Warriors Orochi series. But her moveset is fun. It's very quick. It clears crowds pretty well. And has a pretty good variety to her combos. If you build her with speed, you go skill, vigor with speed, and then fire. She has pretty good damage output. If we go to Void, Depths and Void, look at the records. I just did this one last night. I got her up to 5190 in total attack damage, maxed out vigor, maxed out skill, maxed out speed with the speed record of Sin that gets 1% power or attack bonus per speed emblem. So that's 19%. And only thing lacking was fire. We didn't get to a protective star. And I think if it was maxed out, she would have been even stronger. But the team that she's got there is pretty highly tuned for damage. It's funny because a while back when I was trying out Yumiya, you could see here her overall team power just dwarfs everybody else just by virtue of me getting lucky. We only maxed out two of all of the emblems, but I think it's just team synergy, so this was a pretty good clear. On T5, these are all T5. But if we go here to the main hero select screen, nobody really has a high cumulative level. I think Naomasa's probably the second highest, and Hayabusa's maxed out. But Zhurong, I could foresee taking out on more runs just to farm and build her cumulative level. But just at 100, she was clearing T5 with fairly little difficulty. Her defense is not the highest compared to some of the other casts, so you do have to be a little bit careful with taking too much damage. But she's fun. I think I want to get her fully built and upgraded so I can take her into some of the other modes too. But to start, let's see. We'll run the wheel. It's kind of like a warm-up. And we'll see who it has us take out first. So let me go over here into OBS and make sure I don't forget to minimize it when we're done. Okay, the wheel should be visible. Now let's see who it picks for us for the first run. Yoshimoto. Interesting. Okay. Lord Imagawa, who for the longest time I considered one of my least favorite characters, but he's kind of, well, here, let me go over to where he's at on the list. One, he's always been kind of a weird looking character in the Samurai Warriors series. He's a sword and Kimari ball, but in some of the later Samurai Warriors games, he was kind of portrayed as like a deceptive, bumbling fool. Like, he always seemed like a kind of a goofy guy, but in reality, he was a kind of cold, calculating, kind of hardcore character. And so, I don't remember what his moveset is in some of the later games, because I just never really liked his look. And then they retooled him for one of the more recent games in his appearance. They gave him kind of a more normal, toned-down look. But moveset wise, I actually don't know how he plays in this game. So what we can do in order to improve our chances, because I've never taken this character on a run, we'll buy him his weapon and we'll just see how he plays. And if his moveset's decent, then he might make it in the rotation, but just by design alone, I've never really been a big fan of Yoshimoto. But we must follow the wheel. So let's see where he's at on the list. There he is. Cosmic Kimari. Wonder what his transcendence looks like. His base skill slightly charges a symbol gauge when you inflict disorient on enemies, and he's wind element. What I've read, since people have been experimenting with this character in Abyss just to kind of test out his capabilities, it sounds like you build this guy around assemble and summoning. His weapon, unique skill, replenish health by 5% every 1,000 hits. Increase attack by 30% for charge attacks toward enemy barriers. That's actually a pretty good skill for bosses. 30% flat out damage boost against barriers is useful. So not a bad mix of skills. And he gets an increase to charm emblems acquired by 50%. So you could max out that charm series pretty quickly. Let's see what his transcendence does. So it boosts the amount of charge to assemble when you inflict disorient, which is the wind status ailment. And his attack goes up to 60% for charge attacks towards barriers. Wow, double? Yeah, that's double. Wow. Okay, that's not bad. Okay, we'll keep the transcendence on him, take it out on the run and see how he plays. It's going to come down to whether or not this guy's got decent defense on T5 with no cumulative levels. But 60% towards barriers, that seems like if you pair it with Mitsuhide and maybe Kanetsugu, you can melt barriers pretty quick. We'll see. All right, Yoshimoto, see what you got. Oh, and I can hide the wheel. Okay. Moderate ground speed, not as slow as really slow characters, but not super fast either. Let's see, C1, try the moveset out before we go into an active field. We're going to build him damage-wise. We'll go vigor skill. But instead of wisdom, maybe we go charm. But let's look at his combos. C1. Whoa, that actually has some carry to it. Okay, hits in front. C2. Forward moving with a projectile. C3. That's C2. This is C3. Okay. Get another projectile. And we don't have C4 because we don't have enough skill for it. Okay. Oh, there's Chosokabe. Okay, we'll take that skill. Pulse wind. Alright, and we'll definitely take charm. Oh, I need to check his EX moves too. I always forget that the Samurai Warriors characters have like a second set of moves. We'll test that out after we clear this. Standard EX is this sort of lunge. What's the hitbox on that? Okay, that's EX2. Yeah. That's EX1, low slide. EX3 does the same thing. And EX4, like a soccer kick, okay? That makes me wonder what range upgrades gives this guy. We'll grab a vulnerable invade to start. Oh, I should have checked. Well, he has the record of sin that gives 1% per speed emblem. I should have seen if I had any other ones that would have fit better with like a summon set, but that's okay. Take the attack up. What was that? C4 or 5? That's 4. No 5. The kind of ball-based projectile attacks are interesting, but they're not fast. So that makes me think that he would benefit from a lot of attack speed up to kind of flow through those combos faster. Because a lot of wind-up isn't ideal. That's like a forward-hitting nuke? Looks like it has pretty big range. Now let's see if we can get Wind Element with Charm. There we go. Genji. Oh boy, 30% speed reduction. Yeah, it goes forward and then has a pretty decent range. Okay, that EX attack looks like it just sort of hits around him. Hard to tell what the hitbox is as he bounces around like that. That sort of spread kick projectile seems decent. Again, kind of a lot of wind up. Wonder if we got C5. Nope, doesn't look like it. Alright, let's see how that damage boost against barriers looks. Does seem like it's taking chunks out of the barrier. Still not sold on Yoshimoto's base moveset. Feels slow to me. Ooh, okay. We'll get red hair. We'll go for the summon cooldowns. I should probably rely more on summoning teammates. Let's try that for a few floors and see if we get a more efficient crowd clearing. Not getting a lot of vigor emblems. But we'll take skill, if anything, for the attack speed. I'll probably need to invest in some regular speed just to get some slightly faster movement. The amount of range on that Muso makes me wonder if you build this guy for like a Muso focused build and you get him maxed out range, if that sphere nuke takes up more of the screen. Oh, we can test that here. Actually, I'm going to go speed. Just get 10% speed. A little more pickup on the ground. And also look for getting strength later too. We make sure we don't pancake our build too much. But if we're going summon based, the duration under strength is pretty nice. But I'll settle for attack speed or speed in general, along with vigor to start. Range. Halfway through zone 2. I can't really tell just off one range upgrade if it covers more of the floor. I suppose I have to see if we're able to max out vigor with range 3. I imagine getting range on his projectiles is still good too. Ooh, double vigor. Okay, take that. It's 40%, yeah. Ooh, Tadakatsu. That's going to be vigor plus strength and fire. Okay. Don't need the fire, but doubling up on strength and getting vigor. It's a nice bonus. I'm kind of curious to see how many more of the cast members either get up to 4 emblems or will have 4 emblems when they add them in for future updates. Like Hayabusa in the Ninja Gaiden update, he had 4. I think the only other ones that have 4 emblems total are Lu Bu and Tadakatsu. Oh, did a lot of damage. Seems like my DPS is lagging a bit. Let's see how much total damage we've got. 1751. Yeah, I think that's a little bit low. I think I should be using Assemble more since he gets that boost to Assemble charge. Well, bank it now because we're going into the boss, but maybe in the next zone, in addition to trying to summon more, mess around with throwing Assemble and seeing how the damage stacks. I can refill it pretty quickly. It's not really a style of play I do with any of the other casts. So I guess we can see if it makes Yoshimoto a little more effective. Attack speed. Still a little bit slow, but it's better. That's pretty decent damage. Not super great selection. I guess I'll go Bronze Bird. At least try and get more tears and embers. We'll go Vigor. His range 2. Let's test that with the Muso. I can't tell. I like to think it's doing a larger radius of damage. But can't tell. It's effective though. Alright, let's test the effectiveness of Assemble. We don't have a shield formation, so we can still get hit through Assemble. Okay, his Super Muso, kind of like a bulldozer. That's not bad. Although if you're trying to fight a single target like a boss, I can't imagine that would be the best thing to use unless you can just plow one direction to hit a stationary target. Okay, we're at 9 skill, 8 vigor, 7 wind. Our overall stat spread is probably a little too spread out, but we'll see how we do. We're on zone 3 and I'm starting to see some kind of lacking damage. So I think I didn't commit enough to one build type. We'll see. That might be the most effective part of that whole assemble. Uh-oh. That was close. Okay, we'll go double vigor and plus wind. Cauldron would be nice too. I need to buy a better formation than the standard one. That'd also probably help DPS a bit. Hero cooldown, that's good. We're out of time on the mission. Okay, speed up. That's good. Now he's booking in a little bit faster. Now that the enemy waves are getting a little more dense, you can take advantage of that big kind of cluster bomb Muso. Stops hitting harder too, you need to be careful. Repunish souls, okay. Can't see the icon for the third one. Oh, it's below. There you are. You know, we have a lot of tiers. Maybe I'll get lucky and pull a cauldron before we get to the bottom. Go all the way through 3 zones without getting another formation. It's kind of unusual. Boy, I'm glad I have the voices turned down. Hearing this guy do his Bruce Lee impressions in my ear constantly would get annoying very fast. Increase damage to barriers. Oh, there we go. Finally. Guess we'll take snake scales since I think, yeah, wind is my highest element. It should be higher, but I'll take that. And maybe with the, well, grab all these other ones first. Okay, that should give me some damage boost for the formation. Ow, hey. Okay, we're almost to 14 on wind. That's good. We get protective star. Okay, we'll go vigor. I think if I were to do this character run over, I probably would forego. I don't know. I think you have to pick either vigor or like a charm build. Hard to say. We'll see how we end up. This is boss 3. You could probably max out vigor in zone 4, get close with skill. Maybe if we get lucky, we pull a lot of charm. Start upgrading that so we get more cooldown reduction on our summons. Whoa. Okay. That did a ton of damage to the shield. I think all that damage is coming from Chosokabe. A little bit hard to tell. But that took the shield down in like almost one summon. Oh yeah, that does a boatload of damage. I wonder if it's coming from the wind. I have no idea, but yeah, that's a lot of damage, especially to Tamahami, who tends to be a bit more spongy. Okay. Let's check Chosokabe's summon skill. Ooh, all formations. Yeah, I think we're gonna take that. Okay, he's at level 3 with penetrating blade. But now we can switch formation to, I guess we can go Storm of Dragons. This one's an upgraded version of the wind one. Now that gets our damage up to over 3k, which is still a bit low, but it's definitely better. Let's see if we can kind of optimize a bit in the last zone. Nice. Evasion cooldown reduction. Take that. Oh, we didn't get a single wisdom emblem? It's not. Definitely seems like that Chosokabe summon is what's doing a bunch of damage. If we could get that on infinite spammable use, that would actually be pretty strong. Yeah, that melted the Griffin's shield and like a third of its health in one shot, and it looks like it does a couple punctures. That's crazy. Let's watch it. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think it's 3 hits. If I can get, no, I'm not gonna be able to get any more treasures. I have red hair, which is 2, 4, and 6 for cooldown reduction. I should double check that because Chosokabe should be in whatever slot's getting that cooldown. Turns out he should be on 1, 3, or 5. I think I put him on 1. So we can throw that summon as soon as possible, all the time. I didn't mention it earlier, but when I was testing characters and doing grinding offline, I did run through a T5 run with Chosokabe. He's fun. I think I want to build that character too. His moveset's interesting and it seems like he gets pretty good skills. Ooh. One more, we max out Vigor. We'll do that here, I guess. So now we get shockwaves. We need 1 more point in skill, and then we get wind on all of our projectiles. So we should be able to do that here. Oh, I forgot to check the treasure. Should do this on this floor, just to be sure. Okay, 1 more skill. I think that's worth reloading, re-rolling. Oh, there we go. We get Nobunaga, we get Charm too. Let's further summon cooldown. 50%. Okay, that's good. In fact, that's the minimum we should gun for on a summon build, since we don't get any more after that. But Rally's good, Assemble Gauge Charge is good, and Duration is good. But if we get the 50% cooldown, at the very least, that's good. Let's see, where is it? Activated effects. No, where's special effects? 2, 4, and 6. Okay, I was right. Good, we'll keep Chosokabe on 2. Now if we speed summon him, and now he's on infinite. Okay, that's gonna be our strategy, I think. get to C2, speed summon him for a huge amount of burst damage, at least on larger targets. Yeah, that's cool. That probably means 2, 4, and 6 are all on infinite spam, so Lu Bu as well. Yep. We don't even need to go that high. I think we just get Chosokabe on the field. Need a boss character to test it on. For everything else, I think the shockwaves are good enough. Could even throw Assemble. Since now that we got skill 14, we have wind damage on just the shockwaves. And that should inflict the ailment status to charge Assemble Gauge when it's not full. Now, I guess we'll see what comes up in the rotation. Try and max out skill if possible in 4 floors, because then we get a bonus. I should really be gunning for just wind, I think. We'll see. Even at, I think I have attack speed 3. Maybe not. Maybe I'm a little bit short. But at the skill level we're at, he still doesn't swing super quickly. Just spamming on his light attack. Like, get the shockwaves out, but compared to some of the rest of the cast, he's not very fast. Maybe it's because I also don't have speed upgraded enough where I get the attack speed boost whenever I dodge. That would help. But I don't know. Yoshimoto is definitely better further on in the run, but still not super wild with his overall moveset. Okay, one more attack speed. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay, that's a little better. But it's still, compared to someone like Hayabusa and some of the other speedier characters, he doesn't swing that fast. But that's probably good enough to clear the run. I will be impressed if we clear this traversal level with a non-upgraded, just transcended character. Still waiting for a boss to spawn in. Oh, there we go. I want to test that Chosokabe spam. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's where the damage is going to come from. That's crazy. That might actually be decent enough to take into Depths or Void. And Chosokabe's tactics, there was 100% attack boost during Assemble, But I don't know. I think that's his attack damage. So if we throw Assemble and he throws his skill, the attack skill, I imagine that's probably a stupid amount of damage. We'll be able to test that against the bosses towards the end. But that makes me wonder, because without being in Assemble mode, just throwing it normally, that just melts everything it touches. Okay, we're one away from Protective Star too. We need one more to max out skill. So we'll do that here. One more floor? Since we don't have a specific emblem target tree, I'm just going to burn my bead here. Try and get wind. There we go. That's Protective Star level 1. Which means if we're dumping our Assemble gauge, anytime the Protective Star inflicts Disorient, it should give him the same charge bonus too. If we had two of them, or level 2, then that would probably mean we'd have constant recharging on Assemble, which would be interesting. Alright, nothing really that useful. Oh, interesting. The optimized. Well, yeah, it always chooses that trigram one, but it took Chosokabe out of our team. And we don't want that. So put him back on. Put him on slot 2. It's also a 30% attack increase. So it makes me wonder, if we're under Assemble and he attacks, that's a 130% boost in theory. So we'll test it on the warrior bosses. That will be a pretty good indication of if that's really like a big burst damage skill. But it sure looks like it. Even the bosses on the field, they got the shields broken in like one shot. We'll test it on this guy. Yep, that's almost a full shield in one summon, and it's on infinite cooldown. It's a little bit tricky to go and spam that, but yeah, it did a crazy amount of damage. Against the veteran warrior, we'll do it under Assemble and see if the damage goes up even higher. What we'll do is, I'm going to throw it early. missed. Hard to tell. It's definitely a pretty high amount of damage, but I didn't see it dramatically change under assemble mode. It's still pretty strong. That's going to make Goma fairly easy since he's such a large target. Well, color me surprised. I didn't think I'd have a successful run with Yoshimoto. We're not out of the woods completely, but I think our chances are good getting through the final boss. Okay. Put you back. Now it seems like it wants me going for Bolt. Okay, we'll swap out Sophie. As long as we avoid getting caught by anything really damaging against Goma, since, again, large target and we can spam Chosokabe on slot 2, then this should be relatively easy. I could even hang back and just use shockwaves, but... Oh, he's in the wrong slot, though. That's a problem. Forgot to check to make sure I was slotting him in the right spot when I rearrange my formation. Okay, well that'll make it a little more annoying, but it should still be relatively easy. I just have to wait for it to cool down now. We have Lu Bu on infinite spam, which is nice, but the whole point was to have Chosokabe in that ridiculous level 4 attack of his on spam, but oh well. Okay, form 1 down. Do it too early. That's pretty good damage. We're gonna get it in one shot. Nice. Okay. Well, we got the clear. We got a decent amount of embers. I think, just based on first assessment playing with Yoshimoto, not terribly impressed, but the character did better than I expected. Oh, we unlocked all the achievements for the game. That's nice. Okay, final stats, hit level 40, 3951 is low for attack on T5. But total battle power 91 million, that's pretty crazy. That's just based on team synergy. That's probably the highest I've ever seen, and still it was a struggle to do basic damage with the character. But I think summons, if we went all in on summons a little bit more, then we could have probably coasted through the run a bit better. But not bad. Oh, yeah, his weapon's down here. We didn't pick up any more. What we can do, I'm gonna refund his Transcendence. Maybe I'll invest more in the character later, because at some point we're gonna have to build up cumulative levels for the entire cast to further optimize runs for summons, but for now we will just leave him with his weapon. And he did get cumulative level 50 plus, so that's good. But let's go in. Wow, did it take me almost an hour and a half for just one run? No, that can't be. I think just based on our ramp up time at the start of the stream, I thought it said like 40 something minutes. But let's do another one and we'll run the wheel. Let's see if we get another interesting choice. And if I get duplicates, I get to re-roll. No. Okay. No, Hime. That character has seen a little bit of changes to her overall moveset throughout the games, but I always used to build her in the other Musou games I've played, where you're over here in Oda. This is Nobunaga's wife. Her whole shtick is she's kind of like an assassin, and we need to unlock her weapon, Silver Wing, and we'll transcend her and just see what kind of bonuses she gets. But her moveset's pretty good, very fast. It can single target focus, or she can kind of crowd clear, so fairly versatile. Where are you? You're in the middle somewhere. There you are. Okay. So our base stat, 10% more Musou charge for every Oda emblem, which is okay. It's a pretty average base skill. But Silver Wing increases attack by 30% towards enemy barriers, so similar to Yoshimoto. And every time you destroy a projectile, you get a 1% health back, which is okay. But on Transcendence, she gets 5% damage boost for every Slay emblem, so you build No for Slay element. And then her attack goes up to 50%, not quite as high as Yoshimoto's. His was 60, but 3% regen on enemy projectile destruction. So kind of, I'd say, average. She doesn't get a boost to the amount of emblems she gets, but you can get her attack up pretty quickly if you focus on Slay, which is what we'll do. And then her tactic, Venom Queen, when you inflict wound, which is what debuff and you get inflict from Slay, then her summon gauge goes up. So that's not bad. And I think the Transcendence lowers the requirements to unlock it. Okay. So we're gonna go in with No. And she's got some interesting costumes. Her look has changed a lot throughout the years. She's got this kind of armored seductress type of outfit, which I'm pretty sure was not a thing in ancient Japan. But this is from one of the later Samurai Warriors games. And she's got that one, which is playing off of the seductress theme. This one's like a motorcycle outfit. This is from, I'm pretty sure this is Samurai Warriors 1. And I think this is an alt from one of the other games too. I think her default costume in this one looks the coolest. I like the colors on it. But let's see if we can swap in a Record of Sin that's going to work better. I think the speed bonus one, I really want to grind out a better version of this. This is a rank 4 that I got from somewhere. 1% for every speed emblem is okay, but if I could get 5% for every speed emblem, which I don't know if that exists on rank 4, I don't know how high the bonus goes, but if I get anything higher than 1% would be a pretty big boost when building fast characters. Like that, like 5% speed emblem boost on Hayabusa would be pretty crazy because you can get a lot of speed with his skills. But yeah, I think we'll keep it on there. It's just additional damage. Unless one of these Slay ones works better for No. We could do this. Not that one. That just means more often. Let's see, is there a damage boost for Slay? I don't think I have one. I haven't been lucky enough to get a lot of... Oh, let's see what's up here. So it's Shinobi. Nah, we want one that's like this one, but for Slay. Okay, alright, we'll keep the speed one on. I'm gonna go T5. And this should go a little easier, unless I get either mobbed without paying attention or get bad drops. But I know No's moveset more closely than Yoshimoto's because I've played with her before. We'll talk about her combos when we clear the floor here. So right out the gates, she hits pretty quickly. So my thinking for this one would be we go Vigor, Skill, Slay, and then Speed where we can. I'm not going to worry too much about her Muso because her Muso is kind of okay from what I remember. And I'm not going to rely too much on summons. So we're going single main character damage for her. So her base combo skill set, C1. She's got the backflip. And her weapon are these kind of hidden claws that come out when she swings. C2. Moves forward and there's a shockwave at the end. I think it's either C3 or C4 that I remember being kind of like the bread and butter. That one, that's C3. Hits around and moves. You can kind of guide her trajectory and like spin her through enemies, which is nice. And I don't have C4 unlocked. Her regular EX attack is also pretty good. It's a fast lunge with her claws that moves. EX1, kind of a ground pound. EX2, she gets like a Psycho Crusher, it moves forward. EX3 is another ground pound. So No's moveset has a decent amount of mobility, so she can move around fairly well, which is nice. And her base speed, I can tell, is already way faster than Yoshimoto's. It's alright. Let's keep going. Key will be getting vigor upgrades on her, so for things like the spin, upgrading the range, and on her EX in general, you get her range and she can sweep pretty wide whenever she's lunging. And we definitely want to prioritize getting Slay Element. Now we can test her Musou. Hers is the Kiss of Death, I think. Yeah. It goes out in front of her. It's kind of similar to Yoshimoto's in that it goes out in front and it's a big sort of bomb. Not bad. It's her super Musou and Assemble. I was thinking that that's a little bit harder to use. Okay. We can grab Nobunaga. His skills are upgraded by her, which makes sense. Okay, more actions. We should get her C4 now. Yeah, I remember that one. It's a launch. Do a bunch of stabs. It's a good single target. I think that might actually jump over bosses, though. Might not be too effective. And I don't think we have C5. Oh. Looks like her EX 1 and 3 are the same, and her 2 and 4 are the same. Getting slow down. Okay, 5 skill. Okay, we're getting lucky with drops. That's decent. Yes, the one drawback I'd say for her Musou, it hits a big area and does decent damage, but it's slow because it commits her to the animation of dropping the butterfly out and then waiting for it to end. So compared to some of the other Musous from the other characters in the cast, hers takes a little bit to just kind of go off, which isn't really a big deal unless you're playing in depths where you're on a timer. Now my health. Get out of here. Oh, let's re-roll and see if we can get Slay and speed. Yeah, something like Kotaro. Whoops. Wanted quick summon, not that. Ah, threw her. We're so too late. Whoa. That actually did a ton of damage. That was Kuroda, I think. Here's Crystal Saplings. I think we want to go Crystal Beads. We don't have a ton of tiers. And we're going into a skill floor, so I can get 3 for 1, since skill's pretty important. Keep pushing Slay damage. Kenshin's good to have on the team. Okay, yeah, we'll take skill and Slay. That's pretty good. That gets us further along in the build. Oh, I should have reset my team. Oh well. You can also look at I unlocked the last series of combos. I wonder if that gets her C5? No. Something's doing a pretty big amount of damage. I think it's my slot 3. Okay, so we don't We know she doesn't get a C5. Does she get C6? Nope. On EX. It's the same. Nope, doesn't look like her EX moves change at all. Oh, that's an EX5. I don't think she had that before. That used to be one of her Musos. Fireworks? And I think that's on her Super Muso. Like a stronger version of that where she tosses bombs. I need to get a new formation, but I don't have a ton of tiers. Let's chance it. Let's see if I can get the one of the Slay ones. Nope. There's this one though. Speed up wouldn't be too bad. But now I can't get anything else. We'll get a better one later on. If you could animation cancel her Muso right after she drops it, so that the butterfly goes out and you can move around, that would make her pretty high tier in my opinion. But since you can't and you're kind of stuck there, to me it's only okay. Let's look at Kuroda. So his tactic isn't active, but penetrating blade. I wonder if it's getting a benefit from Slay. It's only level 2. But a couple times it went off, it looked like it just tore through shields. If we unlock his tactic, then that boosts his damage even more, because he's Toyotomi. Let's keep an eye on that. We're not really building for summons, but I'd be curious to see if that's doing a lot of damage. There you are. Missed. The summon came up not even close to the boss. Right up to level 12 on skill, though. That's good. I think you're C2 or C3. The easiest to use. I will go push Vigor. I want the range and attack boosts. Get that damage up. Projectiles. Watch out for my health. Deer antler. Okay, that one's bolt. What does the recommendation say? Okay, it keeps us on speed. Alright, that's fine. Now going to the boss against the bird. Oh, Kuroda's off the team. Well, Kenshin himself does a pretty decent amount of damage. Wow. Okay, well, the recommendation paid off. That's a really fast kill on the second boss. Ooh, we can get our formations. That's good. We want the one that'll give us Slay. So 3 stars. 7% per Slay. So what does that get us up to? 2573 going into zone 3. It's not bad. If we get closer to 4K by the end of zone 3, I think we would be on track. We finished out kind of low with Yoshimoto. It was like 37, I think. Range up. Okay. You can see the spin. It goes out a little more. And the range on her lunges, her EX, it seems noticeable. Level 3 would be even more so. Let's see if we can get Slay. Oh, no, that'll work. Attribute always applied, so all of our swings will do Slay damage, or element. Damage is holding pretty well for Zone 3. I think I'm getting some slowdown. My guess is, even though this game doesn't normally slow down at all, it's probably because of my model. It's not enough to really disrupt things, and it's nowhere near as slow as the Switch version. But I can see it struggling a bit. Let's see what we got at the Cauldron. Still a ways off from maxing out Vigor, but I'm gonna go Skill. Could still get some good upgrades. Try and max it out at 18 before we hit the end of Zone 3. Okay, we'll take Wisdom. Ooh. Okay, we're pretty close, so we'll get attack speed 3, which should be pretty noticeable. Yeah, okay. Now she swings pretty quickly. Not a drastic difference, but it is faster. Look how fast she can lunge with her EX. 2 more? Okay, maybe we can get Bolt since Kenshin's pretty close. He does decent damage. That's before his tactic is live. Okay, we'll keep pushing Slay. Close to hitting Protective Star level 1. We need one more skill. That'll do. And we have Daimyo. Think we need one more Daimyo for Kenshin? Oh well, look at the range on that now. Oh, did I get chained? I saw the bird hit me, and then I think something came up at my feet. Aw, man. That run was going decently well, too. Yeah, I got hit in the wall, and then something looks like it came up right as I got hit by the bird. That's really unfortunate. How many levels did we get? Yeah, we would have hit above cumulative level 50. Ah. Okay, well, I'm going to keep... Well, let's see where our total is. 1.7. Yeah, I'm going to keep the Transcendence on No. She's fun. Maybe if I pull her again, or if I run through some more grinding runs, I can give her some additional levels. I feel like if she was up to 200, she'd be able to plow through a T5 run without much difficulty. But again, she is kind of squishy. Base defense 430. What was Yoshimoto? His is a little higher. What I should do is just unlock all the weapons, but I'm hesitant to do that because they're basically free upgrades that'll show up on runs. It just depends on RNG. But this idea of using the wheel to go random and then if I pull a character that doesn't have their weapon unlocked, then I can unlock it here and transcend them, and test it out on the run. But I don't know, systematically I'm going to have to go through and unlock all of the weapons, especially the Flower of War characters for summon spam. Now Masa build with him on lead and all the Flowers of War characters. I'm curious to see if that can clear T6 and hidden T6, because it's tough, but you can get so much on screen if you build right. And I need to go back and eventually finish the training hall. If I have more characters that are maxed out, then I can take them in to T6 to clear it. But right now we've only done speed, bolt, and that it? Yeah, that's it. There's also endless change training, which is, this one's kind of fun. Each run, the mix of buffs and debuffs as explained here changes. And I think you can just cycle it. I don't think it changes every time you reload, but the truly endless one, every run it's different. So you actually don't know what the mix of buffs and debuffs are going to be going in. So the kind of challenge of how you're going to build is purely driven by what it gives you when you start the run, which is kind of cool. This game does not have an actual endless mode where you just keep going forever. My guess is that's probably going to be something they add when they're close to being done with all of the content. Basically, floors keep going and repeating forever, and then you go until you die. My guess is they're working on something like that, but probably not for a while, since they're still adding characters. We actually don't know when the next Abyss update's going to be. I've been keeping my eyes peeled on the Muso sub. See when they announce the next update. It's been a while. But we will keep on grinding. There's still so many characters that I need weapons for, and so many that I've never played. I think I've maybe played with 10% of the total cast. And so there's still ones out there that I haven't even tried. So I foresee we'll be tinkering around and grinding more. I will look at what I'm going to be streaming next week. There is a new game that I'm thinking about starting up on the channel next week as like another long play alongside Raidou, because I think we're pretty close to the end of Raidou Remastered, maybe a couple more sessions. But there's another retro game that I want to play through that will probably be a series of streams, in addition to ones like this one, which is going to be kind of like a longer ongoing playthrough, or Factorio, which we play every other week or so. But we'll call that a good stopping point for today. I'm still kind of annoyed that I failed a run with No. We'll have to go for a run back at some point. But let me see who is online that we can raid, and we'll wrap up for today. I see Dirt's online. He is playing through Hollow Knight for the first time, probably because of Silksong coming out. Alright, and go see how that's going. I need to go beat the original Hollow Knight. I need to do that at some point. It's a really good game. So let me go ahead and queue that up. And we will turn off the music and go to outro. And we will wrap up. Well, we should be back on Sunday of this weekend per the schedule. I will be jumping back into No Man's Sky for the first time in a while to check out the stuff with the new update. I think we're going to probably be spending a good portion of the stream building a Corvette ship, which should be fun. But until then, thanks to the folks who stopped by. We'll be back again soon. Hope everyone has a good rest of your morning, evening, etc. Now let's go see how the Hollow Knight's going over on I Eat Dirt stream. I'll catch you in the next one.